Yeah, I listen, and I understand my cooking skills and obviously my chopping skills are not very good. Listen, I'm just trying to keep up with you here at Ikanos.
Well, thank you very much. It was more hacking than chopping, but
Okay.
it's okay.
Well, maybe I'm
You'll be
gonna
eating
learn.
it.
I'm gonna learn something this morning. And
Absolutely.
hopefully, the viewers at home will as well. Hey, we're making a delicious soup to start
Yes.
here. What kind of soup is this?
It's fennel cantaloupe soup with shrimps and prosciutto.
Okay.
It's sort of a play on prosciutto melon.
Got it.
It's fairly easy. I mean, we basically have some grilled shrimps over here that we cool down, but they could be poached shrimps. It could be basically frozen shrimps if people don't feel like cooking the shrimps themselves. The important thing is if you're poaching them, to poach them in a fairly acidic liquid, because otherwise they get kind of mushy.
Right.
But otherwise, that's pretty much all it is. We tossed it with a little bit of mint, a little bit of chives, lemon juice, a little bit of lemon zest, oil, and salt.
And then it goes in the bowl. You kind of, this is an interesting way to plate your soup if you're trying to impress your guests at home here.
Absolutely. It's all about impressing. So we basically just do a little mound in the middle. We'll put a little bit of the herbs.
Okay.
After that, usually we would do this at the table, but since we're not serving it, because it's a fairly thin soup.
Right.
The soup is fairly easy to make. It's essentially 2 parts cantaloupe to 1 part fennel. And then we just adjust the seasoning with salt. It could be any form of acidity. In this case, it was champagne vinegar, but you could use lemon juice. And depending on if your melons are ripe or not, I would add sugar or honey, or not add at all.
Got it.
I'd say that's basically the key to this soup, is adjusting it to taste.
And that's like a common mistake that people make when they're making really any soup at home. They're just
Absolutely.
following the ingredients and the recipe exactly as it is.
Yeah.
You got to taste it. You got to add a little salt, a little sugar, a little pepper,
'Cause you never
and
know.
make it the way that you like to make it. All right, coming up, guys, we are making salad. We're going from soup to salad. We're using some amazing fresh seafood here at Ikanos, guys. Here with my new friend Costa at Ikanos, and hey, listen, we're cooking with lots of fresh seafood today.
Absolutely.
We've gone from our soup to our salad. I'm seeing a beautiful lobster salad in front of us.
Absolutely.
What's going into this thing?
Well, this is a peach tomato salad that we do with a bit of lobster. In this bowl over here, I have varieties of tomatoes. I have a little bit of cherry tomatoes and some tomatoes, a little bit of basil, and I put a little bit of hot pepper. It's
Okay.
just tossed with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper.
That's it.
That's it.
Super simple.
Very simple.
There was something you were saying about the tomatoes. A great
Yes.
tip for the viewers at home.
Yeah, well, one of the problems with tomatoes is generally they're so, like most fruit, a little bit unripe. So it's important to kind of wait them out. But primarily, it's important not to put them in the fridge because they
Okay.
turn acidic. You want to let them sort of by the window, ideally, let them ripen. By the window, I'm sorry. In a shady area, but warm, to let them ripen a bit, and that's about it.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's get that into.
So I put a little
bowl
bit
here.
of fresh arugula in here, just for a little bit of pepperiness. I'm going to put a bit of the tomatoes. This is a mix of some grilled peaches and some raw peaches. I tossed it with a little bit of lemon juice, sherry vinegar, and honey. We're going to kind of mix all this together.
Okay.
Then you just kind of toss it all. I'm going to toss it like this because I don't want you to stain your pants.
That's why I have the apron on, Costa. Thank you very much,
I see there's
sir.
lack of trust right here. And then we just plate it in the middle. I'm just going to finish it with a little bit of fleur de sel. Fleur de sel is a good thing to put on pretty much any dish. It gives a little bit of pop and flavor at various moments.
And then, of course, we're going to add our lobster. And I know that you say do not mess with the lobster.
Don't mess too much with lobster.
Don't mess
absolutely.
it, exactly. You want it straight up. Okay, so that goes on top of there, guys.
I'm not sure that the straight up lobster lovers would approve of this variety of flavors in a dish, but every once in a while one must cheat.
Costa, I am a lobster lover, and I definitely approve. Guys, more dishes coming from Ikanos, Mediterranean style, coming up a little bit later in the morning. Definitely very full here at Ikanos. Such great food here with Costa again. And I know you just got back from your trip from Greece.
Yes.
Lots of the dishes here at Ikanos inspired by the Mediterranean.
Absolutely.
And what's our next dish here?
Well, this is grilled octopus. We do it with a artichoke salad, and we make this pesto that is basically these long green peppers that are a bit hot. mint, basil, a little bit of parsley for some bitterness, pine nuts, and kefalograviera.
And just you puree that?
You just puree it like a regular pesto.
Wow.
These artichokes we do in-house, but you could do it with any form of bottled artichokes. I wouldn't do it necessarily with the canned ones because they have a tendency of being very watery.
Right.
But any artichoke in oil would do the job. There's some really, really fantastic ones on the market right now.
Speaking of the market, when you get your seafood here
Yes.
in Montreal, where would a viewer go to get some really great fresh seafood?
Honestly, I would say the best place would be La Mer for the consumer on René Lévesque, corner Papineau.
He doesn't mean just the sea,
I
just
don't
not
mean
to go to
just
the sea. No,
You could go to the sea, but not necessarily in Montreal.
La Mer is an actual place, yes.
Otherwise, there's Falero on Park that's very nice. And there's this other little place called Corrali. They're just beside the Marché Central.
Right.
That have a lot of variety. Otherwise, honestly, right now, if I'd say any form of Asian market, people have a tendency of being afraid of going to Asian markets because, well,
You just never
they
know.
don't necessarily have this. Yeah, but that being said, they have so much volume in those places that every time I've gone, I was phenomenally surprised at how fresh the fish was.
Great. Okay, so we have our finished product here, guys. I mean, this is obviously fairly simple. You have your
absolutely.
marinated artichoke. The octopus goes on top, and then what are
This
these?
is just roasted garlic aioli. So
Okay.
it's basically roasted garlic mayonnaise.
Oh, so that just goes amazing with the actual grilled octopus. Oh
And
my
then we
god!
just put the artichokes on, and
Wow.
we finish it with the artichokes we were grilling before. With the octopus we were grilling before.
Wow. Okay, so obviously, hey, listen, we're eating very well here at Ikanos, guys. It's very simple dishes. If you missed anything, go to btmontreal.ca. All the videos that we did this morning are going to be up there. We did a great soup, a salad, octopus, and hey, we got some more dishes coming up a little bit later in the morning. Well, Derek, we have your Mediterranean sea bass on ice waiting for you tonight, buddy. Don't worry. We want to show you a good time while you're here in Montreal. And hey, we have one of these in the oven. The grill is cooking right now. Look at that, guys. That looks unbelievable. Okay, so right here on McGill is this amazing Greek restaurant called Ikanos. Now, you can order this right here. This is obviously a very popular dish.
Yes, it's by far our biggest seller, by far.
Okay, so give me some tips on how to grill fish because I'm always a little bit nervous when putting any type of fish on the grill because I tend to burn it or I don't cook it enough.
Yeah, it's temperature control, honestly. Most of the time when we cook on charcoal, we have a tendency as men to want to impress. And it's usually way too hot. And so you need it to have a certain heat because if it's not hot enough, the skin will stick on. Right. And at the same time, we also have a tendency on the barbecue to want to play around with the food, you know, like to move it around. But if you don't leave it on the grill long enough, basically when you put it on the grill, it sticks, and after a certain while, it caramelizes and it's free to go.
Got it.
But essentially, there's a tendency of cooking way too hot.
Now, I saw you had that like, directly on the grill. Is there any tips on maybe using some tin foil there, or do you like to keep it kind of open?
Well, if you use
with the
tin
lid
foil,
open?
it would technically be steamed.
Oh, okay.
They have a certain apparatus where you could basically sandwich it in a little grill. You find those at Home Depot, and it's easier to turn around or whatever. We don't really use that because it takes way too much room in the grill, and when we're busy, we just don't have time to play around with those things. But
so when the fish comes out, beautiful fish, wait till it cools, obviously, because that's obviously very, very hot. Once we've opened it up, how do you tend to garnish this?
We garnish it very simply. It's just parsley. We put a little bit of olive oil, capers, and then we finish it with a little bit of lemon juice. You can also pre-juice your lemons. It's a little bit more practical, but...
So you don't want to mess with the fish too much, right?
No, not at all. And then we just put a little bit of fleur de sel. That's about it. And we add a couple of this is fresh oregano.
Okay.
It's a fairly strong herb, and it has a tendency of wilting extremely quickly, so we
Put
just
that
take
on
it out
at the very last
last.
moment for you to bring that out to your guests. All right. Hey, listen, you can come down to Ikanos and try this for yourself, or try it at home and definitely impress your guests. Thank you so much for having us
My
here this
pleasure.
morning.
Nice meeting you.
And hey,
very
tomorrow,
much.
listen, we've been cooking and eating a lot on the Live Eye this week, so we're heading over to B-Cycle to try and get to lose some of this weight that I've gained here in Old Montreal. Hey.